The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Let's move on to the fight that went down in Saudi Arabia over this past weekend. Oleksandr Usyk defeating Tyson Fury in a rematch. Unanimous decision, 116 to 112 on all judges' scorecards. So, round one, both guys had their moments, but I think Fury edged Usyk out. And then round two, Usyk started going to the body a little bit more. Round three was more so like a sparring session. No single shot really changed that round. It could go either way. And I think round four, Usyk edged it out by those two big left hands that he landed. And then in round five, you started seeing Fury doing Fury things. He started trying to lean that body weight into Usyk. And I'm like, okay, here we go. And it was a good bounce back round for him. And then round six, towards the end of the round, Usyk rocked Fury three times with some three big left hands. So that's when the fight kind of changed. Then round seven, I gave to Usyk. Round eight, I gave to Usyk. Round nine, I gave to Usyk. And I pretty much gave Usyk the last three rounds after that, too. I think round 10, Usyk finished strong to edge Fury out. I think that was a close round. And then I gave round 11 to Usyk, too. And then I gave close round to Usyk. And I guess the judges pretty much, agree with me because, like I said, he won 116 to 112, which means he got 8 to 4 rounds. And I think Fury got some of the earlier rounds. So, pretty decisive win for Usyk in this rematch. What were your thoughts on this one, Chris?
Yeah, well, Fury after the fight talking about he won this fight.
That's what he said. Because he left the ring after. Because I watched the.
Well, I'm talking the post fight.
Yeah, prior conference. I didn't want to watch all that.
Watching a little bit of it. I guess as a fighter in the first fight, watching it and then watching this one, I can see how he felt like he kind of won this one in a sense. Well, he did better. Let me just say that. I don't think he won, but he did better. So for him, he feels like he won because he wasn't as being dominant. What's the opposite? Yuri wasn't being. Oh, what's the guy's name?
Usyk.
Usyk wasn't being dominant on him like he was in the first one.
But I thought the first one was a little closer than this one, to be honest.
I feel like this one was pretty close. Honestly.
Really? Okay.
I did feel that this one. I was watching. I was like, I feel this is pretty close because of defensive wise. But the issue I had with Fury is he didn't throw enough punches. Right, the little jabs. They weren't power. Like the power punches came from the opposite side. He didn't really throw no power punch unless you talk about the uppercut. Right, the overhand, the big punches that he throws wasn't there. He kept them at bay a lot with the jabs, but the big punches wasn't landing for him. And then when it got close, he wasn't busy. The other fighter was more busy. He was getting little taps here in the stomach, little punches here. Every time Fury was throwing 1 or 2 punches, his opponent was throwing 3 or 4. So he was getting out power punch. Yeah, he probably threw more jabs or whatever the case is, but it didn't. Like you said, like you saw it, how we saw it. I think Fury's just looking at it that his defense was a little bit better. He performed a little bit better. So in his mind, he felt like he did better, but he didn't win the fight.
Steve,
to me, I thought after the whole entirety of the fight, I thought Usyk won, and I'll agree with you, Chris, because what I was going to say is Fury's style, unless he's winning and gathering up those points or get a significant knockdown, I don't think his style lets him come back as far as like in the scorecards. He has to wait for a counter. Usyk was ahead of the game as far as getting his punches off, and if somebody's getting their punches off and having a better night and you're waiting for the counter, I mean, you're just getting behind more and more on the scorecards because you can't get your punches back, which I think essentially is just basically what happened to him. Like Chris said, after he gets a big straight left down the pipe, and judges are saying, ooh, the whole damn crowd saying, ooh, popping jabs and hopefully getting an inside uppercut. You know, those opportunities I saw didn't open up as much times as it usually would for him, because I think Usyk fought a smart fight. To me, it looked like Usyk got the better and stronger punches in.
Yeah, like I said, it's pretty dominant win by Usyk, and what can you say? He's the king of the heavyweights right now. So looking forward, as far as big names, there's still fights out there that you can make as just for his name value, because he still hadn't fought Joshua or Wilder, but it's really no need for him to fight those guys, because it's not their name value isn't. I mean, their name value is still up there, but like their records wouldn't be indicative of you fighting them right now. So, what do you see next for Usyk right now, Chris?
Well, he's a top dog right now. He can do whatever he wants. You know, they could run this back for the third one. Nobody want to see that. Right? But if you think about, does Joshua or Wilder want to fight him?
They don't deserve it, though. I don't think you can.
No, but it's all about selling, right? You got to sell the ticket too. He's a big shot. He can sell the ticket, but who else is there? Who else is there to help?
After the fight, we saw Daniel Dubois get in there. Daniel Dubois just got a big victory over Joshua, but last year, was it May or so of 2023? Usyk just knocked Dubois out in 2023. So
it's like he's a top dog. He right now enjoyed his win. He not shocked the world. First time he won, shocked the world. This time he cemented his legacy. Like, hey, there ain't no question between me and no more. That's over with. So he's a top dog. I think everybody now got to bark up his tree. He gets his pick. So I don't know who wants to fight him though. He's small enough, he's quick enough, and he's strong enough. Who really wants to fight him at the heavyweight? He's pretty tough fighter right now, and he's very confident right now. So, a lot of them big guys are not fast. He's fast. He can put punches together. He almost gives me like a better version of Rudy. That could put punches together, because Rudy's pretty fast for a heavyweight. So, yeah, he top of the line right now. He's top dog.
Steve, what do you think might be next for Usyk?
Like I said, Tyson Fury was prospect of getting that rematch. The person that hasn't lost, his first one, gave Fury a loss. Rematch solidified it. Everybody down there has losses, but I wouldn't count them out, because if recollecting back in the day, if Marquez can get 4 fights out of Pacquiao, and I think he was on top of the world, and everybody said why, fight him that many times, especially I think the 4th time. I mean, maybe that was a different era, but hey, if you need the money and there's nobody else to fight, I can say those people can be valuable choices. Maybe I don't see any other prospects or anybody talking about anybody new that's coming up, even with close to his record, to even challenge him, let alone the ones that's close enough that we know. So like I said, the ball's in his court, and I really wouldn't know who he would fight next. I would have to do some study to see who's prospects right now or up and coming contenders for the belt.
Yeah, I say just don't do the Dubois rematch. I just say do that. Dubois got that good win over Joshua, so do that. I don't know if it'll turn out differently. Dubois on the up and coming. Like Dubois, he's no chump. He's I think he's like 26, 27. So maybe he needed that experience to get back on track. And I say run that back.
Would you even look that way after you lost to him the way you lost to him? I don't even think you go that route. I think you just going, you keep going left, and you avoid that until you have to. This other fight, yeah, honestly.
You saying if you do Dubois?
Yeah, because the way you lost the last fight you fought this guy, you just
Got knocked out.
you go left and let him go right, and then if you meet him down the line where it's a must fight where you got to get him, then you talk to him. But right now, you enjoy this Joshua fight. You take another fight, you just keep winning and winning, building your name up, And then when they bring you up again, like, hey, you've been winning the last 7 fights.
That's
Like,
a lot of fight. That's a lot of fights. I don't know if Usyk will still be there. So,
well,
so
that's what these guys are doing now. These guys is waiting for these other guys to retire, fight them out. They're not fighting each other no more. They're just waiting for the next best opportunity, to get up there. So that's what I'm saying. If I'm in his camp, he's not going to be there that long. Just go this route, and then you'll be able to get there. You already lost to him. Ain't no point in.
I mean, yeah, it's pros and cons to that. I mean, he's fought 3 fights since fighting Usyk, and he's won all of them, and he's finished all of them. So, which one to include Big Baby Miller too. So that was a prospect that people were clamoring for. So, this is not. Well, I was thinking of the other Big Baby. This is the older Big Baby, actually. So,
which one, Big Baby Miller or the other?
It's Big Baby Miller he fought. So that's the older one. So, I don't know, man. Like you said, it's pros and cons if he were just to try to avoid him. But he was in the ring like he wants to fight him. So I think that the fight he wants next.
We'll see.
It'll be interesting. But talking about the other side of things, if you're Fury, where do you go from here? Retirement, or do you finally try to maybe make the Joshua fight happen, Chris?
After Joshua took an L, I don't know what you do if you're Fury. Like, all the heavyweights let him so down for the Joshua fight, the Wilder fight, all the big names. They're not big no more. So it's like you've been fighting to get to these guys. Now you get to them, and now they're like they're B levels, and you're at the A. Now you're like, oh man, I can't even. But there's money on the table, right? There's money to fight Joshua, right? You do that fight, there's big money there. There's money to fight Wilder, I'm sure. You do that, there's big money. I think he wins all those fights, to be honest with you. I think he's just very active. I think he's athletic. I think he's active. I think he can put punches together. I think he can he's quicker than all 3 of them. So I think he can get those wins.
Steve, what do you think?
Well, yeah, I can see him doing that. But I have to see how popular that dude is that knocked out Wilder. I don't know if he's getting popular.
Yeah.
Chinese fighter.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Yeah, that's right. He is pretty good.
He's older though.
He is, but he's pretty good.
I think that would be a good matchup for Fury. I mean, just me looking at it, but as far as popularity, I don't know.
Zang. I mean, he's like a lot older though. He's 41.
Oh yeah, pretty up there.
Wilder might be washed, lose it to somebody else like that. I don't know.
But now the Asian guy was he's always been pretty tough though.
Yeah. He lost to Joseph Parker though. And yeah, I think he got Wilder out of there though. But you wouldn't like to see Fury and Joshua though?
I was about to say Joshua, since the European market. I mean, that's it. I think that's his best bet.
You could
definitely
imagine putting that fight in Wembley Stadium. 90,000 will come off of that. Y'all both coming off a loss. You could sell that.
Yeah.
It's like loser leaves town match type of thing. Like whoever loses this retires. If you do him and Joshua now at this point, y'all wouldn't be, entertained by that.
Yeah, definitely. I've been saying they should get that going.
It should have been, like you said, it should have been happened. Kind of it wasn't his fault because Fury was trying to move on for Wilder, and Wilder did invoke some type of weird clause and made him fight up for the 3rd fight. They tried, but looking back at it now, I'm not taking away from anything that he did because he was the first to finally dethrone the Klitschko's during that boring reign, and they had to kind of brought heavyweight fighting down. But outside the Klitschko fights, do we kind of overrate Fury looking back on it now that we could, kind of have glasses like, hindsight. They say hindsight is 2020. Because now that we look at it, he beat Wilder 3 times, but who's he beat outside of Wilder? Like I said, I can't take away from the Klitschko fights, but who's he beat outside of the Wilders now that we look back at it?
I mean, the Wilder fight, but that's the thing. That's what makes it different because Wilder was here, right? He was this guy knocking out everybody, and you got Fury over here was coming like. What can he do? And he's dominating Wilder, right? That's what we want to see. This is my thing. This is my Tank effect, right? We got fighters for Tank to fight, and Tank's just so dominant in all this. We want to see him fight those other fighters, see how good he really is, instead of fighting the guys that we never heard of. No disrespect to these guys, but they get a chance. Like Pitbull, they could be dangerous, and I'm sure these guys are dangerous, and Tank's is destroying them. But besides Ryan Garcia, like you just want to see these guys fight, and that's the problem, The only thing we missed from the heavyweight was Wilder versus Joshua. I think Joshua kind of let us down there. Joshua let us down with the Fury, those big fights. Those are the ones I think we lost. Joshua let us down.
We never seen Joshua against any of these guys. We saw the only fights we saw was Wilder and Fury 3 times, and the first one was a draw. Second one, Fury won decisively, but third one, Fury kind of struggled with. Deontay had his moments, and that's what I'm saying. You think Fury's a little bit overrated because Deontay can't box. He's got that one mass destruction of right, but he can't box.
I don't think he's overrated. It's just in this era, it's hard to get. Though I'm trying to bring up the Tank stuff. It's hard to get these fights going. Back 20 years ago, fighters were fighting everybody. Roy Jones fought, Bernard Hopkins, Tony Allen, all of them fought. And then they fought each other. So we got to see who's the best out of the three. We got to see how great they are. The 90s, everybody fought. When it got to the early 2000s, not everybody's fighting like that. Everybody's picking and choosing when they want to fight. And we might never see these guys, and we're all gonna have this conversation. Who was the best out of that 3? Who's the best out of these 3? Who's the best out of these 4 fighters? We got too many fights that are not happening, and that's the problem.
But if you look at Usyk fought him out. He beat Joshua twice. He beat Fury twice now. The only one he didn't face was Wilder, but we probably know how that would go. He beat Dubois, so you could say Usyk fought them all.
That's what I'm saying. But it takes a guy like that to come under, right, to fight these guys. But the heavy hitters that we all want to see never get to fight each other. So, I don't think, and that's why I don't want to take away from Wilder, Joshua, any of them saying their legacy is they're overrated. It's just that we didn't get the fights that we want to see. We almost missed the Mayweather versus Pacquiao fight. We almost didn't get that one. And that would have called to this day, like we didn't get to see that fight. So we almost missed a lot of good fights, because of this. Bud's been calling out guys. Guys don't want to fight Bud for the longest, and we don't know how good his legacy could have been. Even though he's won all his fights, could have been even better if they'd have took these fights.
Yeah, I can see that. But what do you think, Steve? You think Fury's legacy is a little bit overrated now in hindsight?
Honestly, we were talking about, the availability of fighters of back in the day and today, and it all depends on your perspective on, are we in a new generation of new rules to respect based off the module it is now, or keep things of the past that we call what's a GOAT status. And like you said, people worrying about losing all the time, to where people fought each other, in the past in boxing. I felt like you got a redemption pass in the past because you had all these top hitters fighting each other. So one fighter you might have lost to a fighter, but the other fighter might have beat that fighter. So you might redeem yourself from fighting the fighter that beat you by beating the fighter that beat him. You just don't see that too much no more because it's not, enough stars in one weight class. And I guess that's my perspective on, you know, if you would call Fury the GOAT, or is he just caught a wave at a good time to accumulate those wins?
Yeah, I guess it's really kind of hard to say. You know, like I said, hindsight's always 2020. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like we did miss out on one of the fights. Like I said, they got blocked because they had Joshua and Fury. They had the date signed, but Wilder stepped in there and invoked his clause to get the third fight to happen. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, but I think looking back at it, when we look back at it, 20 years from the line, I think people will probably be talking about how Usyk came up a division and like beat everybody who we thought were the kings of the division. So it's very impressive what he did, to kind of cement his legacy. And I'm curious to see how things will shake out in the future. Thank you for checking out this Haymaker Combat Sports segment. This full episode could be found on the Haymaker Combat Sports YouTube page and in audio form on all major podcast platforms. Until next time, peace.